Howdy, 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 my name is Anashi Sasuke. Welcome back to Let's Play Hiveswap Friendship Simulator. In the last episode, we got to meet Sneaky Person, and weird secret things happened? Like, possible Doc Scratch things happened? I don't know. Maybe this next episode will explain that. Probably won't, though. Blah, 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 friendship, blah. So, last time we had Buldir Lamati, and this time we have Stelsa Says Yacht, who looks really fashionable and adorable when she's excited. How many fingers is that? 5? Okay. I never really thought about how many fingers trolls have. It's raining. Okay, so it turns out stealing a car was easily one of your better impulse decisions. You've gotten accustomed enough to its weird insides by now that the squishiness doesn't faze you as much anymore. It still feels like the warm stomach of some giant creature, but you actually find it kind of comforting. You can just let yourself get enveloped by the seat while the autopilot does its thing. Getting ferried through the streets of Alternia with your feet up on the dash sure beats endlessly pounding the pavement. Sometimes you even throw Sarava's stream on your phone if you really want to get a chill vibe going. You're surprised that you haven't been caught yet, dastardly carjacker that you are, but maybe you're just a better thief than you always thought. A possible career change to look into when, if you ever get back to Earth. The downside is that it's a little difficult for you to further your goal of gathering even more friendship from the inside of a vehicle. So you'd park the scuttle buggy and expose yourself to the menaces of the outside world once more. You're in what looks like some sort of residential neighborhood. It isn't as nice as the Blue Blood neighborhoods you've seen, but it's still nice enough for most of the apartment complexes to have imposing locked front gates and security drones. But of course you can't take a leisurely stroll on Alternia without something terrible happening. You aren't out here for very long before it starts raining. Shit, damn, and fuck. In that order. You ditched the umbrella Torona had given you since it was heavy as a goddamn club, and now you're super regretting it. Running for shelter is all you can do, so you make a mad dash for one of the building awnings, huddling uncomfortably underneath it. Why don't you just get back in your car? The rain doesn't let up. You'll have to move soon. The security drones are beginning to look like they're planning on taking a few shots at you for loitering. You need to make a decision and fast. Run back to the scuttle buggy. It's parked a ways away down the street, but if you run fast enough, you might be able to make it. You abandon the security of the metal awning, launching yourself back into the minor apocalypse that is regular Alternian weather. You should have been able to guess how this was going to go. The raindrops are too dense for you to successfully dodge them all, and your delicate human body isn't built to withstand nuclear-ass rain. You probably would have had better luck with the security drones. Okay, I was right. It is nuclear, like, acid rain. I could have sworn I saw that it was acid rain, but I couldn't remember. And now we know that the character does, in fact, actually have a nose. So let's try that again, because now I know that my idea of running to the scuttle buggy makes you melt. We've learned something. And she's so adorable because she has... Oh, right. But try and get into one of the buildings. There's no way you're getting into any of these without a passcode, but wait! You think you see someone coming your way? Perhaps they'll be your knight in shining armor? So what you're telling me is that my appointment is cancelled? You're still some distance away, but she's looking right at you. You point at yourself questioningly, thinking she might be talking to you, but then you realize she's wearing a Bluetooth headset. Jeremy used to be on the ball. Remember the time he gave me a full-prong beautifying procedure right after that high blood ripped his arm off? But now he can't bounce back from one little thresher in the abdominal sausages. What happened? That boy's losing his touch. Abdominal sausages? Did he take a thresher to the balls? It sounds like that's what happened. Looks like she's coming back from a jog if the running shorts are anything to go by. If she's at all bothered by the acid glancing off her skin, sending dozens of little firecracker sparks into their wake, she isn't showing it. She seems much more preoccupied by the harried conversations she's having on the phone. Most importantly, she's power walking to the entrance of this building, which must mean she lives here. This is your chance! You shuffle along under the awning, pressing yourself close to the side of the building, bug-like. You sort of wish she'd encountered you earlier when you were dodging rain like a rad action hero. Now you just look like sort of cowardly and pathetic. Especially compared to her! She's striding along like absolutely nothing is going to get in the way of whatever business she's got going on, let alone a few paltry explosions. The rain is exploding? Actually, she's so focused on her call that she doesn't notice you until you're standing right next to her. Such an inconvenience, you can fully expect that I will be taking my business elsewhere from now. Oh my, what do we have here? She transitions from hanging up the call to talking to you so quickly that it makes your head spin. Take this down! Strange little hornless creature parked in front of home, very puny and scared looking. Can only be the alien everyone has been talking about. Such an opportunity can't go to waste now, can it? You're confused again. Looking around to see who she might be talking to, but there's nobody else here. Maybe she's dictating notes to her phone? Look at you! We can't have you wandering around outside like this, darling, can we? Aren't you ravishing? Do give me the name of your stylist so we can... So it's so good to meet you. Here's my card. The name's Stelsa says yacht. Art a terrorizer in training for the Alternating Empire. Nice to meet you. Let's walk and talk. You didn't realize that borrowed hoodie was the that impressive of a look, but okay. She produces a business card with one hand and inputs some numbers into a panel with the other. You take the card. It's a struggle to process what she's saying, respond to her questions, and introduce yourself, all while experiencing the verbal equivalent of getting hit by a truck. How is it possible to talk so fast without taking a breath? You can barely get a word in edgewise. There she goes. Stelsa continues chattering away as she steps inside and waits for you to follow her into the apartment building's elevator. You do. So tell me, do you run any business on your planet? If you do, I would be more than happy to offer my services. They are very efficient and affordable, I can assure you. All your legal and financial documents will be checked over in no time. I'll make sure everything is running at tip-top shape. I'm so happy to have run into you. Oh, she has dimples, that's adorable. Ever since Zizi told me she met you, I've been asking her to introduce me. Zizi? It's so very important for a professional to continue growing her network, especially intergalactically, don't you agree? She's still busying herself with her phone while talking to you, texting on its tiny keyboard. Keyboard now. The name Zizi doesn't ring any bells. You flip through the Rolodex in your brain trying to remember. Have you really made so many friends that you're beginning to forget their names? You're a little impressed with yourself. I don't think we've ever met anybody named Zizi, though. It was only yesterday that you were crawling around in the basement of a murderess and getting stabbed in the shin with a screwdriver. Just a single friend to your name. Good times. You've come so far since then, it brings a single sentimental tear to your eye. Wait, Stelsa's own name finally starts to register? You've heard it before. This is Tazia's maid sprint, so she must be talking about Tazias. Or Tazias is... Murderess's stabbing, very fascinating stuff, I'm sure. Yes, I'm referring to my darling Tazias, of course. You're at the door to her hive, she unlocks it, letting you both in. Come in, welcome to Shay, says yacht. Make yourself at home, can I get you anything, water, grub cake, my rich sheet. I would love to continue our chat while I'm a little sweaty. Also, acid wreaks absolute havoc on the skin, you know how it is. I'll just jump into the ablution trap for a minute. Please excuse me, I won't be long back in 2 shakes of a Quackbee's gastric evacuation pillow. Is that 2 shakes of a duck's ass? Actually, you wouldn't know how it is, considering that a bucket load of acid following you would leave you all either very injured or very dead, and she's already gone. You're a little relieved. It's not that Stelsa isn't friendly, she's plenty friendly, she just approaches friendship in a way that makes you feel a little like a line on her to-do list that she's in a hurry to check off. Or, well, she seems like she wants you as some sort of work contact, not a friend, but that's okay. You've worn many hats in the pursuit of friendship. Clown cultist, impromptu shoosh papper, murder accomplice. Business associate is one of the tamer ones on the list. Now that you no longer have to keep up with her mile-a-minute conversation, you can take a proper look around her hive. Let's do that. There's a statue of something, some books with a language I can't speak, some weights for lifting, some sort of exercise thing with a book on it, a crazed-looking notepad thing, a Super Mario Fire Flower, somebody's jacket, more books. Is she also a lawyer? Well, she said I assume this is a just hang in there, but that totally looks like it's Tavros on that just hang in there meme page, or motivational poster, as it were. You're not sure what's more perturbing, the sheer amount of pink that's accosting your eyeballs, or the fact that everything is so painstakingly organized that it's making you a little uncomfortable. It's like you merely standing here is disrupting the careful order of this room. Her shelves are crammed full of books, all neatly arranged according to the topic, with each topic displayed on a little label on each shelf. She also has a lot of posters featuring motivational slogans underneath striking nature photography. The only normal-looking spot in the hive is a coffee table with a mishmash of personal belongings piled on top of it. Books, papers, a jacket. You think that might be a mug? Is the coffee table the desk, or is it behind the word box? None of those items strike you as being particularly Stelsa's style. The overall effect is that of a very pink, very neat office cubicle. You almost feel like you should start chugging mediocre coffee and complaining about how much you hate Mondays. Sorry to have kept you waiting! That is somehow even more adorable than she already was. Stelsa reemerges, her hair wrapped in a towel. Well, it's been a blast getting to know you. We should get lunch done sometime. Keep the conversation going. I'll pencil you in, darling. But for now, I have a bit of a dilemma to deal with. That sounds worryingly like a dismissal. You sneak a glance at the schedule on her bulletin board. It's a blaze of color. That's a schedule? I thought she was just insane. Nope, I see a calendar. Never mind. It's a blaze of color with barely any free slots. You don't want to be penciled in. You have no idea when she might be available next, and you need her sweet, sweet friendship now. Maybe whatever her problem she has is something you can help with? Unless you're a ludicrously talented beautician, I think not. My usual place bumped me off their list, and right before a very important meeting, too. A girl has to look her best for these things to really knock their socks off. If I want to make arrangements at another salon, I shall have to move fast, no time to waste. Why not use the extra time to do more prep for the meeting? We'll get back to the beautician, because that's just gonna be a clusterfuck, I can feel it. It's an excellent idea! I visited this potential class establishment a wipe ago, but it was a quick one I could do. Well, to cast my gander bulbs around the place properly, it's pretty much in the bag, but this meeting is the clincher. There's no way I can flub it. Having Ramele Namaka as a client would be too good of a cluckbeast plume in my pan lid for me to chuck the opportunity in the load gaper. Haven't we already befriended her? Ramele? You totally know her, how about that? Yes, I would hope you did, darling. She's only been splashed all over the papers lately with that stunt of hers. Buying out her competitor like that, I've never heard of the likes of it before. Just flitting around her hive as she speaks, nipping into what you assume is her bedroom to blow her hair dry before shuffling some papers into a handbag. That was fast. You tell her as best you can, feeling a bit like a pet cat underfoot who's threatening to trip her at every turn. Maintaining a career as successful yet relatively avant-garde artist is a very different to assuming ownership of and managing a museum, and yet she has made it work. Whoa, sounds like Ramele has been busy since the last time you saw her. You clarify that Ramele is a friend of yours, actually. Stelsa stops in her tracks. Really? Why didn't you say so in the first place? You should come with me. Getting the forward one of Ramele from a friend of hers could really give me a frond up. What do you say? You're not sure there's much you can tell Stelsa about Ramele. You're pretty sure Ramele doesn't want an auditor in training, or, well, anyone really, knowing that she's an art thief. But, why not? There has to be some stray info about Ramele knocking around in the old noggin that might come in useful. Marvelous! Come on, you can tell me on the way. She takes your hand and pulls you out the door, back into the acid rain. You offer Stelsa a ride in your totally not stolen scuttle buggy. It's still raining, but she shields you both with an umbrella that's almost as big as you are as you walk to where it's parked. You get in, put some tunes on for the road, and head off. Once you're on your way, you admit to Stelsa that most of your and Ramele's conversations just involve her bouncing ideas off you for her webcomic, but you're still happy to answer any questions she might have about Ramele's overall deal. You're expecting her to be disappointed, but her eyes practically light up. What a privilege! To be completely truthful, I'm quite the fan. I've been following her webcomic for a while. She admits this kind of sheepishly. Does she think that liking comics is embarrassing? Of course not! Okay, maybe a little. It seems irresponsible to spend time on something as flippant as a comic on the internet when I have so much other business to attend to. Lots of irons in the fire over here. Achievements don't achieve themselves, you know. I feel pretty good about the fact that somebody finally said that again. But, maybe, but hobbies and downtime are important too. You never feel more rested than after you've let yourself do absolutely nothing but enjoy a good comic. What? She looks at you blankly. You know, rest? Oh, I always make sure to get enough recuperation every day. No concerns there, to be sure. What you're talking about is a bit different from getting enough sleep, but you try a different tack. Why is she taking this job with Ramele anyway? Isn't she busy enough with her training? Well, sure, I have that internship with the Alternian government as well, but there can never be enough experience under one's belt. You're beginning to see what the problem is. You get the feeling that Stelsa might be a bit of a workaholic, just vaguely. Has she ever considered... You're so involved in trying to convince Stelsa of the merits of getting her chill on that you don't realize there's anything wrong. Not until Stelsa lets out a screech that almost burst your eardrums. Fiddlesticks, we can't go this way, there's road work happening here! The scuttle buggy must be operating with an outdated map. Switching the manual and turn us around, quick! The roadwork Stelsa is referring to as a bridge with a do not enter sign hastily put up. Beyond the sign, the bridge is peppered with enormous holes. Some look big enough for the entire car to fall through easily. What are you waiting for? Hurry! Well, there's one small problem. You can't drive. Oh, fudge nuggets! Stelsa presses a few buttons, switching the controls to manual. You grab the wheel, turning it wildly, your only goal to make sure that you don't drive onto the death bridge. You probably should have paid attention to the steep slope curving away from the road. Did we just die? There's blood everywhere. Did we just die? You both yell as the scuttle buggy zooms downward at full tilt. Miraculously, it doesn't tip, but it does slam into a power line, sending the two of you lurching forward. If it wasn't for the unnerving lung-like airbags that inflate in front of you, would have shot out the front window. Anxiously, you ask if Stelsa is okay. Stelsa doesn't seem too concerned about whether she's injured or not. She's making a futile attempt to push the airbags out of the way so she can get out of the car. There's no way we will make my meeting on time now, and I look an absolute mess. You look alright. She's right. Her hair, which was all gentle, soft tufts before, it's sticking up in all directions, and her glasses have smashed in the collision. Why did I think this was a good idea? I should have just walked. Thanks for nothing. The car might have survived the crash, but if Stelsa's cranky expression is anything to go by, your budding friendship with her wasn't as lucky. Okay, yeah, she is definitely more fucked up than that picture made her look. Fashion faux pas! Okay, now let's swing back around for the option that sounded like it was going to be the bad thing. I probably should have known the one that sounded bad was going to be the one that caused friendship. But that's 2 for 2 of the bad endings. Let's see if there's one good ending, or if it does that thing where I'm wrong for no reason. Try to get into building. Who needs a beautician when you're around? You have absolutely no professional beauty experience, but Sarava did give you that crash course in crafting great looks. Stelsa is probably after a vibe that's a little less moisture wave, but you're sure you can whip something up. Tell her that you'll help her to get ready instead, right here in her hive. Woo! How nice of you! I've never had a house call before. Let's do this. I am afraid. She leads you into the next room, rubbing her hair dry as she goes. There's a Recuperacoon in one corner and a vanity in the other, with an array of poofs, brushes, I don't know if it's pronounced poofs, and other mysterious implements spread out on its surface. Some of them are disturbingly pointy. Oh well, you're sure you'll be able to figure out what they're all for once you start using them. Stelsa takes a seat in her chair in front of the vanity, folding her hands primly in her lap. So, darling, what do you think we I just now realized that none of her anything has punctuation, and that's probably why I keep fucking it up. What do you think? What should we do first? It's all up to you. Not this again. Why are you always making all the decisions around here? What you wouldn't give to be able to foist your own life choices off on random people you just met. It would be refreshing. Is polishing horns even a thing that's okay on this planet? Is that accidental lewd? Like, her hair looks fine, and I feel like polishing horns might be accidental lewd, because I don't recall having ever heard anything about touching someone else's horns. But let's try that. You pick up a velvety piece of cloth, bringing it up to Stelsa's head. There's only one thing this could be for, right? Wait, what are you gonna do with that? Polish her horns to an impressive sheen, of course. They'll be positively gleaming by the time you're done with them. She grabs your wrist with one hand before you can do so. She's deceptively strong, holding you in such an ironclad grip that you can't move your arm at all. You'd been low-key admiring her toned arms earlier, but now you know for sure that the rack of hot pink dumbbells in the living room aren't just for show. Instead of looking pleased with what you propose to do, she looks uneasy, possibly even a little embarrassed. Polish my... You barely get a glimpse of her discomfited expression before she's gracing you with another friendly smile, albeit a bit of a strained one. You know, I think I'm having second thoughts. It's reasonable to expect an alien like you wouldn't know the first thing about troll grooming habits. My mistake, I should have accounted for such cultural differences. But it's quite alright, I shall figure something else out. Is it just you, or was there a pointed pause before cultural differences? She's getting up again? Wait, what's happening? You thought the two of you were going to bond over a sweet makeover session, but she's pushing you back into the main area of her hive? Pretty forcefully, too. Thank you for offering your help, dear. So very kind of you, but I'll manage. Great to meet you. Just wonderfully. Call me, take care, have a nice life. Toodles, goodbye. She shoots you another lovely, yet very clearly fake smile and shoves you out the door. You'll be able to wait out the rain just fine in this hallway, but being sprawled on your ass on Stelsa's welcome at all by your lonesome just isn't the same as hanging out with a new friend. Oh. Game over. I told you it was probably something lewd. Like, I was imagining it being like, if you, like, how shoosh papping just sort of makes them ragdoll. I was imagining the horn polishing being like when you rub a cat's ears or something, or like... I remember reading somewhere, it's like, hey, no, that happened in this comic, didn't it? Where you, like, they like, were scratching someone's head, and they're like, you're gonna have to take responsibility. I don't know. Something wacky happened. Okay, so, not the horns. Try to get into the building. I'm a motherfucking beautician. But we're gonna style your hair. The first order of business should be drying Stelsa's hair. You pick up a funnel-shaped doohickey that looks like it might be a hairdryer, fumbling around for a button. There isn't one, but you manage to turn it on by giving it a good squeeze. But the mouth of the funnel opens up wide, emitting a hot blast of air along with a hoarse animal yell. You think you might actually see teeth inside. Just don't think about it too much. That's the best you can do when it comes to literally any alternating gadget. Thankfully, the noise soon fades to a low hum. Here, use this. Stelsa passes you a piece of thorny bramble. It looks painful, but when you begin brushing Stelsa's hair, she sighs happily. Interesting being in this position for once. When Tzias is over, usually I'm the one doing this. You try to imagine Tzias letting someone give her a sweet do. Even when it's her girlfriend in question, you have a hard time picturing it. Okay, so since I've been forgetting everyone's everything, I'm pretty sure Tzias might be the water drinking person from a couple episodes back. Maybe. Stelsa laughs. She has a surprisingly pretty musical laugh. No. My dear Zizi isn't one for involved beauty rituals. She usually doesn't let me do more than just brush it, but it's still relaxing. Sliding the brush through Stelsa's hair is pretty relaxing. You allow yourself to zen out for a moment before shaking yourself out of it, casting around for something to talk about. That's what good hairdressers do, right? Strike up casual conversation? Your eyes fall on an open book sitting on the table. It's the only object there that doesn't have anything to do with hair care or beauty, so it stands out like a sore thumb. Just like the items on the coffee table, it's strewn too haphazardly to look like it belongs to Stelsa. You think you see some of the tabs Tzias was using to keep on the notes for her group project? And if you look even closer, you think you catch the words revolt and history in the page header. Right, as Tzias' mate Sprit, Stelsa probably has big plans for dismantling the system from the inside too after she becomes an auditor. You remark that you think it's really cool what she and Tzias are doing. It might be scary to stick to the man like that, but someone has to do it. Okay, it's not exactly light conversation, but talking to Tzias about this had been so enlightening, if sad, and you'd really bonded over it. Maybe you'll be able to bond with Stelsa the same way? But Stelsa only looks confused, then her eyes flicked out to the book just for a second before she reaches out, smartly snaps it shut, and squirrels it away in one of the drawers. The sound of the drawer slamming makes you jump, and you narrowly avoid pulling Stelsa's hair. I'm quite sure I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not sticking anything anywhere. Definitely not to any man, and neither is Tzias. She's sitting straight and tense in her chair now, her voice soaring to a high bordering on hysterical pitch. No, she probably doesn't know you're on their side. Tzias might not have told her about your conversation. It's okay, you're not going to tell anyone, you're sworn to secrecy. But Stelsa averts her eyes, a stubborn set to her chin. Again, I have no idea what you're talking about, not a single clue. Tzias and myself are both law-abiding subjects of the Empire. We don't dabble in such foolish things as sympathizing with rebels. What would that possibly accomplish? She wrings her hands distractedly. We do things the way we do an alternative for a reason, darling. Without the Heba spectrum and the roles we each need to play, why, the world we plunge into complete chaos. Can you even imagine? Trolls running around not knowing which way is up, doing whatever they please, no one to tell them what their place in the world is. She goes from hand-wringing to gesticulating wildly, almost knocking her rope jars off the table, positively frantic at the prospect of societal breakdown. It's better for everyone this way. I truly believe that. You're beginning to realize that you might have put your foot in your mouth? Just a little bit. Stuffed a toe or two in that gob of yours, maybe. She sounds way too earnest for this to be a cover-up. Could it be possible that Stelsa really does side with what Tzias had called... What had Tzias called it? The Condess? And that she doesn't know about Tzias' underground research after all, but the book was right there! You're so confused. Talking about this is clearly distressing Stelsa though, so you drop it, focusing on finishing up her hair instead. It's pretty soft now that it's dry. You're not sure you've styled it correctly, but she seems pleased. Great work, nice, fantastic, you did an excellent job. You glow at the praise, you'd say thanks, but she's already passing you a bottle of nail polish. She really wants you to go all the way, huh? You twist it open and get to work. You're too focused on not smudging the teal color over the stately points of her claws to talk, but Stelsa breaks the silence. I have a question for you. You nod, sticking your tongue out in concentration. So I have this acquaintance. This is the most tentative you've heard her so far. You weren't sure her vocal cords were capable of it. They're in a quadrant with someone who harbors views most would consider subversive, if not outright treasonous. She's obviously talking about herself and Tzias, but you don't want to point that out in case she gets upset again. So you just nod along thoughtfully. She didn't always. The maid spirit, I mean. It'll blow over at some point. She must just be going through a difficult phase. But in the meantime, she could get into oh so much trouble. Stelsa's lower lip wobbles like she's about to cry. You chew on the insides of your cheek trying to figure out what to say. Talking to Tzias very much did not leave you with the impression that it was a phase. She sounded pretty serious. Does Stelsa's friend have any idea that this is going on? She looks at the drawer. So do you. Nope! You resist the urge to massage your temples? No idea at all? Absolutely not. Alright. Okay, you can do this. A good first step might be for her friend to face up to the issue, you know, if there's the chance that they have the tiniest inkling about what might be happening, so the two of them can talk about it. Talk about it? Yeah, you're no expert, but open discussion probably helps with relationship problems quite a bit. Plus, you ruminate to yourself, the more you think about it, the less it seems that Tazai's leaving her controversial book out like that was an accident. It was right in front of Stelsa's chair after all. Maybe Tazai's wanted Stelsa to see it. You slicked the last bit of color onto Stelsa's pinky claw a while ago, but you're both too wrapped up in the conversation to suggest that you move on to something else. She lets the polish dry while the two of you continue to talk. But my friend does not agree with her mate's sentiments. Discussing it would just cause unnecessary friction, wouldn't it? Maybe, but even so, addressing the issue is probably better than pretending it isn't there. Besides, quadrant mates can, coexist regardless of differing beliefs, right? Yeah, you don't sound convincing even to yourself, but the platitudes seem to comfort Stelsa somewhat. Maybe you're right. Carefully mindful of her just-dried nail, she wipes away a few tears, much to your horror. Was that the wrong thing to say? But then you notice that she's smiling. I've not spoken about that to anyone before now? Telling you about it was truly a load off my bellow sac cavity. You could have just said chest. I'm certain my friend will be grateful as well. I shall relay your advice accordingly as soon as I can. You smile back at her weakly. You haven't been able to relate to very much when it comes to Alternia life, but boy can you relate to relationship drama, and trolls sure seem to have plenty of it. You hope everything turns out alright for her friend. Since her voice is all sniffly and her eyelashes still wet, you retrieve a frilly box of hand tissues and hold it out to her, hoping that will help. She pulls out a few and blows her nose on them with a sad honking noise. I should finish getting ready. She seems reluctant to get up, though. You'd probably be the same knowing you had to head into a serious business meeting after spilling your heart like that. Experiencing emotions is tiring. Eventually, though, Stelsa musters up enough energy to get to her feet. Much to your surprise, instead of immediately rushing off to complete her next pre-meeting task, she pulls you into a tight hug. Thank you! You're a real friend! And there it is! Not colleague, not potential client, but that wonderful friendship word. Friends forever! Was Diamond Kismetitude? Or I think Diamond is Kismetitude. But that's great. That's adorable. But so many relationship things, so many relationship irons in the fire. So that about does it for this episode of Let's Play the Hiveswap Friendship Simulator. In the next episode, I have no idea what's going to happen because it doesn't exist yet until a weird point this Friday evening. That being said, if you liked it, a like and a subscribe will be groovy. If you didn't, you don't need to do either one of those things. And I will see y'all in the next one. Later.